In our previous video, we demonstrated that Pope Hadrian II accepted the Council of Constantinople 869, calling it a Great and Holy Assembly, in which Photius, the author of depravity, was condemned and the true faith confirmed. He also gives it the title Universal Synod. All of this undermines the Eastern Orthodox narrative circulating online and in the Acts of 879 that Rome never accepted this council. We now examine Pope Hadrian's successor. Our next pope to consider is Pope John VIII. Pope John VIII was the successor of Pope Hadrian II, who we have demonstrated to have accepted 869. Now, John is one of the most controversial popes when it comes to the Synod, because, as we have said, Photius altered his letters in the Synod of 879 so that he is perceived by the Eastern bishops as condemning the Synod of 869. But nothing could be further from the truth. To make the facts easier for ourselves, let us cite the observation of Catholic scholar Father Francis Dvorak, who notes that none of the letters of John VIII mention the suppression of the Ignatian Synod, as we can prove from the authentic Latin versions, with the exception of a single document that only exists today in the Greek. This is known as his Commonitorium. To simplify what we have just said, there is really only a single document that purports John as condemning the Council of 869. This document is called his Commonitorium, which serves as his instruction to his legates. Yes, there are other letters that claim to condemn the Synod, but scholarship has shown them to be interpolated, as we possess the authentic Latin versions that lack these interpolated condemnations. In short, the only document to be concerned about is the Commonitorium of John. This will be important to remember, as we will come back and deal with this Commonitorium later. Now, we must examine a letter of Pope John VIII written to Photius in August of 879. This is known as Epistle 209. In this letter, John tells Photius that through the intervention of the emperor, Rome has decided to restore Photius to the dignity of the patriarch. Nonetheless, to avoid the evil of Photius's initial ordination, in which he went from a layman to a patriarch within a single week, and also with the aid of the emperor, the Pope appeals to the fifth canon of the Synod of 869, which was promulgated in his words by, quote, the venerable Synod held at Constantinople in the time of our predecessor Pope Hadrian the Younger, end quote. This is significant because it shows that the Synod was authoritative, as the Pope appeals to its canons that it promulgated and himself gives them universal authority. It is also to be pointed out that John here calls the Synod a venerable Synod, a statement which contradicts all the interpolations of Photius, in which the Synod is not to be ranked or considered among the venerable and holy synods, and completely unjust and invalid, and so forth, which clearly contradicts the words of Pope John VIII. As is not surprising, Photius also corrupted this epistle, because it endorsed the Synod of 869. Paul Kerr, the chairman of the Monumenta Germania Historica, writes at the start of Epistle 209, Greek version adulterated by Photius of Constantinople, the Patriarch. Now, what exactly did Photius do to this letter? When John VIII mentioned Hadrian the Younger, which cannot refer to Hadrian I, who would be known as the Older, and to Constantinople, Photius removed the part about Hadrian being called the Younger, so as to make it unclear which Hadrian is being mentioned. He then added in the name of Tiresias, so that he could combine the mention of Constantinople with Tiresias, making it seem like it speaks of the Patriarch of Constantinople, Tiresias, instead of the city in which the Synod was held. After all of these changes, the original sentence, which read, quote, according to the chapter which concerning this matter was most fittingly promulgated in the venerable Synod held at Constantinople in the time, namely, of our predecessor Hadrian the Younger, Pope. This now read, quote, according to the canon set forth at the Synod in the times of Hadrian, the most holy Pope, and Tiresias, the Patriarch of Constantinople, of blessed memory. Thus, Photius changed the original mention of 869 under Hadrian the Younger to Nicaea II under Pope Hadrian I and Tiresias of Constantinople. However, the Latin preservation of John's letters exposed these interpolations. Note also that no such canon was promulgated by Nicaea II, but only by Constantinople 869 in Canon 5. Photius also did not stop there. He added an entire paragraph into letter 209 that condemned the Ignatian Synod. But, as has been said by Dvorak and shown by the Latin, this is also an interpolation. Going back to the original version of the letter, as we have said, it reads, according to the chapter or canon, which concerning this matter was most fittingly promulgated in the venerable synod held at Constantinople in the time, namely of our predecessor Hadrian the Younger, Pope. As we said above, this is significant because it shows that the synod was authoritative, as the Pope appeals to its canons that it promulgated and himself gives them universal authority. It is also to be pointed out that John here calls the synod a venerable synod, a statement which contradicts all the interpolations of Photius, in which the synod is not to be ranked or considered among the venerable and holy synods, and is completely unjust, invalid, and so forth, which clearly contradicts the words of Pope John VIII. Now, remember that document called the Commonitorium. We will now deal with it. As has been said by Dvornik, this is the only document that actually speaks of the suppression of the Synod of 869, and it does not survive in the Latin. The question must then be proposed, can we trust Photius's Greek version of it? The simple answer is no. First, let us consider the content of the Commonitorium. In Father Gregory Here's translation of the Acts of 879, the Commonitorium is translated in the third session of the Synod. In section 10 of the document and section 54 of the third session, it is stated, quote, we desire that it be proclaimed before the resident council that the council which was convened against the aforementioned Patriarch Photius in the days of Hadrian, the most holy Pope, both in Rome and in Constantinople, be henceforth expelled and rendered invalid and unconfirmed, and that it not be numbered together with any other holy council. End quote. Now, does the content of this Commonitorium disagree with John's letter 209? Certainly. First, the Commonitorium says the synod be henceforth invalid and unconfirmed. This contradicts John, who invokes its fifth canon to be perpetually enforced to do away with the evil of Photius's ordination. Second, the Commonitorium says the synod must not be numbered together with any other holy council. Yet John explicitly calls it a holy and venerable council, and himself confirms it. From this, we see clearly that Photius's version of the Commonitorium contradicts John's Epistle 209. But what makes it even worse for Photius is that in letter 209 of John, after calling 869 a venerable synod that he himself confirms, John then appeals to his Commonitorium and says it ought to be followed. This proves that the original version of the Commonitorium did not suppress the Ignatian Synod, as the Pope appeals to the original version in the same letter that he says that the Synod of 869 is authoritative, confirmed, and venerable. Therefore, the modern Greek version of the Commonitorium is an obviously interpolated version. Even the Greek version, funnily enough, that Photius adulterated, witnesses against him. In section 8 of the Commonitorium, it states, quote, we say that after the decease of Photius, the most holy patriarch, no one is to ascend from a secular dignity to the throne of Constantinople, as our letters also testify, end quote. Now, what letter of Pope John says that with the exception of Photius, no one is to ascend from a secular dignity to the dignity of the patriarch? This is nothing other than the letter of 209 that invokes the fifth canon of 869. Therefore, Photius's own adulterated version of the Commonitorium exposes his deceit and vindicates John VIII's acceptance of the Ignatian Synod of 869. It must also be mentioned that there is an additional letter that exists in a fragment from John VIII, which calls the Synod of 869 the Eighth Ecumenical Council. Now, some scholars like Father Dvornik consider it authentic. Others, like Father Richard Price, consider it a forgery. It seems more likely that it is a forgery, and for two reasons. First, the letter only appears in the collection of the 11th century, when canonists were seeking justification to make 869 the Eighth Council. This seems too convenient. Second, from John's authentic letters, we find two letters dated after this alleged manuscript, in which he numbers the ecumenical councils to 6, not 8, which would be an obvious contradiction and evidence that it is likely inauthentic. Having covered so much content from Pope John VIII, we give the following summary. 1. John VIII in letter 209 unambiguously accepts the Synod of 869 and calls it a venerable synod with authoritative canons. 2. Photius tried altering this letter, as well as John's other letters, but the Latin exposes this. 3. The only document that cannot be cross-checked with the Latin is the Commonitorium, which cannot have condemned the Synod of 869, as the Greek version claims, for two reasons. One, John refers to it in the same letter in which he says 869 is binding and venerable. Two, the Commonitorium itself says in section 8 that John's letters discuss the prohibition of layman's elevation to the dignity of the patriarch, which only occurs in letter 209, which is based on the fifth canon of 869. Fourth and finally, there is a fragmentary letter of John VIII that calls 869 the Eighth Ecumenical Council, but this is likely a forgery. In conclusion for this video, we have demonstrated from the witness of Pope Hadrian II and John VIII that the Ignatian Synod was confirmed and ratified and seen as universally binding, authoritative, and holy and venerable, contrary to the claims of Eastern Orthodox apologists who claim that Rome did not accept this council for 200 years and never accepted it. In the future, we will cover other popes and perhaps other objections to the Ignatian Synod, also known as the only true Eighth Ecumenical Synod.